Good morning. As of the making of this video, it is Friday, National Day, 9th of August 2024, and we're up really early. It's just past 5 a.m. We're going on a road trip to Malaysia, specifically Kuantan, and that's why we're up so early. We want to beat the jam. It's National Day, it's a public holiday, and traffic jam on the causeway is typically really bad. Well, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get on the road.
Unfortunately, despite our best efforts, we were a little too late. It was only 5:30 a.m. by the time we got close to the Woodlands checkpoint, but a long line of vehicles had already started forming. We basically spent more than 2 hours queuing up and clearing the checkpoints on both sides of the border. By the time we crossed into Malaysia, it was already 7:45 a.m. or thereabouts.
Alright, we finally crossed the checkpoint after 2 hours. We started at 5:30 and we finally crossed over to Malaysia at 7:45, and now we are here at this McDonald's and petrol station to refuel, use the toilet, and then we're gonna set off on our way to Kuantan. Another 4.5 hour drive from here to Kuantan. So, yep.
Hey, present day me here. As I'm editing the video, I thought it'd be useful to tell you about the driving up to Kuantan and back from Kuantan to Singapore. We had two options. We could either drive up the North-South Highway from Johor till Yong Peng before taking a right and then heading further north via a series of smaller, narrower back roads through heavily forested areas up till Kuantan. Or we could proceed via the Kota Tinggi Mersing route along the eastern coastline of Peninsular Malaysia, which would have afforded us, in theory, a view of the sea along the way. To get the best of both worlds for the trip up north to Kuantan, we decided to take the inland route, and for a bit of a change, on the return journey down from Kuantan back to Johor, we took the coastline route, passing through Mersing and Kota Tinggi on the way. But more on the return journey down south later. First, the trip up north via Yong Peng.
Okay, we've taken the North-South Highway up to Yong Peng, and now we're going to turn right and head to East Malaysia where Kuantan is. And the roads there are smaller. They're not going to be as wide as the North-South Highway, so it's going to be smaller, more like back roads. So we're going to see what the driving experience is like. Hopefully it's not too bad. So let's go.
We drove through Yong Peng, then a couple of smaller towns before hitting the back roads. We navigated several stretches of one-lane roads through the Malaysian countryside, surrounded by forests and plantations on either side of us, with the occasional house or school or sleepy village along the way. The roads are mostly smooth, with the occasional bump or pothole here and there, but nothing that really troubled our car. The challenge was really in safely overtaking slower-moving vehicles like lorries. With it mostly being a one-lane road all the way to Kuantan, overtaking a slower-moving vehicle meant having to drive on the opposite or wrong side of the road, which was obviously risky. But thankfully, we made it all the way to Kuantan safe and sound, although we were obviously a little tired after all that driving. We passed by this welcome sign around 1:30 p.m.-ish, so all in all, it took us about 8 hours to get from Singapore to Kuantan, including crossing the border, as well as a couple of breaks to grab a bite and a bathroom break. So now would be a good time to tell you where we stayed in Kuantan and also what we did. We were in Kuantan for 4 days and we stayed at 4 hotels. Yup, I know, that does sound a little crazy now that I mention it, but that's just how we roll. Anyway, the hotels are Timur Bay Seafront Apartment, Swiss Garden Beach Resort, Hyatt Regency, and the Swiss-Belhotel. We are going to share our thoughts on each of these hotels in the next few videos, so if you're interested, keep a lookout for that. In the meantime, we're going to take you through what we did and ate while in Kuantan. Let's start with what we ate. Pak Su is the very first restaurant we went to in Kuantan. It's an unassuming little restaurant right by the beach, serving a variety of Chinese dishes. They've got fresh, live seafood as well. Don't be fooled by the rather modest-looking nature of the restaurant. The food was excellent. We ordered mapo tofu, salt and pepper scallops, prawns, fried fish and sweet and sour sauce, kampong fried rice, and fried bee hoon. Every dish was lip-smackingly good. On Google reviews, it's only rated at 3.6 stars, which was a surprise to me personally based on what we ordered. I would have given at least 4 stars. Our total bill, including our drinks and service charge, came up to about 330 Malaysian ringgit, which is about 100 Singapore dollars, give or take. Next, we went to Alor Akar Seafood Restaurant, which is located in Kuantan city itself. It seemed to be a very popular restaurant. When we arrived there for dinner, it was about 8 p.m. and it was bustling. Every table was occupied. We ordered fried fish and sweet and sour sauce again, stir-fried kailan, special sizzling prawns, salted chicken, and fuyong egg. Our total bill, including drinks and service charge, came up to be about 192 Malaysian ringgit, which works out to be about 60 Singapore dollars. While the food was good, I did not find it to be as good as what we had at Pak Su. The fish, for example, was not fresh, and a tiny portion of the fuyong egg was slightly undercooked. This restaurant is rated at 4 out of 5 stars on Google reviews, which based on what we ate, I would probably not go as high. But you know, sometimes it depends on what you order, and maybe that was just an off day for that particular chef who prepared our food. Yat Yat Loi, which is Cantonese, I think, for come every day, is the third and final Chinese restaurant we went to in Kuantan. Like Alor Akar, it's also located in Kuantan City, but this time closer to the Esplanade Kuantan, which we're going to talk about later in this video. We ordered yellow wine chicken, 4 Heavenly Kings, a dish that consists of 4 different types of vegetables stir-fried together, steamed fish, salted egg soft-shell crab, and of course, fried egg. Total bill was 250 Malaysian ringgit, which is about 75 Singapore dollars. Was it worth it? Yeah, it was okay. The salted egg soft-shell crab, which actually isn't in the menu, we only knew it existed by checking out online reviews, was probably the highlight here. The steamed fish was fresh, certainly fresher than the one we had at Alor Akar. Yat Yat Loi is rated at about 4.3 stars on Google, but to me, I will rank it at best as being on par with Pak Su, and since I give Pak Su about a 4, then I do the same for Yat Yat Loi. If you're only in Kuantan for a day and only had time for one Chinese restaurant, I'd recommend Pak Su. But if you're in the mood for something a little different, head over to Sate Zul. Apparently, it's a chain of restaurants offering some of the best satay I've ever had. The outlet we went to was Restaurant Sate Zul in Jalan Teluk Sisik in Kuantan. We ordered chicken satay, beef satay, mee goreng mamak, which is fried noodles, nasi goreng kampung, which is fried rice, and mee bakso, which is beef balls and noodles and soup. Even though the satay was not freshly prepared, the meat was substantial and succulent, and it was delicious. Including drinks, the total bill was about 70 Malaysian ringgit or about 21 Singapore dollars. Definitely recommend coming here, especially for supper. It's rated at 4 out of 5 stars on Google, and to me, it deserves every one of those stars. But let's say you're in the mood for something more than just a little different. Let's say you want to indulge in some Western food. Where can you go? Well, check out Miss Elliott at Hock Bee, a cozy little cafe located among a row of shop houses within walking distance of the Kuantan River. It's another popular place, even though it was about 2 p.m. and therefore past lunchtime by the time we got there, we still almost couldn't get a table. We ordered pastas, pizzas, French fries, and drinks. The salted egg soft-shell crab pasta was particularly creamy and decadent, and I would definitely recommend trying it. Pizzas were delicious too, if a bit on the small side. Miss Elliott offers a selection of delectable desserts, but unfortunately we were too full to try any, although there were a number of people buying them as takeaway orders. Our total damage at Miss Elliott was about 70 Singapore dollars. The cafe is rated at 4.5 stars on Google. That is quite a high rating, but I guess I wouldn't begrudge them that. Our next stop was to Lila Wadi restaurant, which offers a mix of Asian and Western cuisine. I mean, they have stuff like cheeseburgers and cheesecakes, but also fried rice and tom yum steamboat. We ordered the New York cheeseburger and shiitake mushroom cheeseburger, which are pretty much the same burger, except that you get mushrooms on the latter. We also ordered the prawn tempura, which was slightly coated and battered and deep fried and was just perfect. Not too oily, not overcooked, and it went very well with the Thai chili sauce. For drinks, we went with a couple of watermelon juices, a carrot milk juice, a lemon cooler, and pandan cooler. I forgot to take a video of the pandan cooler, but apparently it's a signature drink. You can check that out on their Instagram page. For dessert, we had the mango cheesecake, Oreo cheesecake, and Toblerone cheesecake. This restaurant seems to be located in what was previously a landed house. I mean, it is sort of located in the suburbs. There's a chill vibe here with nice background music, and it was a nice place to take a break. This was after we visited the zoo, more on that later. And we just wanted a pre-dinner snack, so to speak. If you can call a giant cheeseburger a snack, that is. Total damage here was 140 Malaysian ringgit, which is about 42 Singapore dollars. Lila Wadi is rated at 4.1 stars at Google, which seems about right. Our final stop, restaurant-wise, was to Menara Kuantan, a restaurant offering seafood and steaks. The restaurant is designed with an open-air concept, but lots of ceiling fans provide plenty of ventilation, and we never once felt warm or humid. Even though they advertise seafood and steak on the shopfront, there are plenty of other choices here, including nachos, salads, pastas, sandwiches, pizzas, and even Asian food. For mains, we ordered a couple of pastas, including beef carbonara, a couple of pizzas, chicken fajita pizza and Hawaiian pizza, peri-peri chicken, and so cheesy chicken. And to wash it all down, a jug of watermelon juice. For dessert, we were too full, so we shared a slice of cake and bread pudding with vanilla ice cream. Our total damage here was 70 Singapore dollars, which seems reasonable to us given the amount of food we ordered. Menara Kuantan is rated at 4.8 stars out of 5 on Google, which is wow, but also, yeah, I think they deserve it. Not just on the food alone, but also the decor and the ambience and the overall experience. Right, with that out of the way, let's talk about the places of interest we visited in Kuantan, starting with the Giant Turtle Rock Mural. This gigantic beach sea turtle mural is actually one of the newest, if not the newest, tourist attractions in Kuantan. As of this video, August 2024, it was created just over a month ago in July 2024 by 4 muralists. They took 5 days to complete the job, and I must say, it is a job well done. It really does look quite lifelike. The previously not so popular beach here called Tanjung Pelindung Beach is now teeming with locals and tourists eager to snap Instagram-worthy photos of the turtle. Getting to the mural itself is relatively easy. From the road, it's about a 200-meter walk on the sandy beach. If you're driving, just note that parking around here is quite limited, so you might be better off taking a taxi instead. This is the road that leads to Tanjung Pelindung Beach, and as you can see, there's really no proper car park here, so you'd have to park by the side of the road if you can get a spot in the first place. That said, this giant turtle rock mural is definitely worth a visit. Might be fun to maybe spend a couple hours here in the late afternoon to evening and make it a picnic. Since it's facing the east, you don't get the afternoon sun here and it's quite breezy, so I might imagine it will be quite a pleasant experience. The Esplanade Kuantan is a park/garden stretching alongside the Kuantan River. We went there in the evening and it seems like a nice, quiet and peaceful location to go for a stroll, perhaps after dinner. You can spot a giant Kuantan sign on the opposite side of the river, as well as a couple of iconic looking buildings, including this building that looks like it might be an airport control tower, but it's really the Menara 188, an iconic tower in Kuantan that is 188 meters tall and offers breathtaking views of the city. Somewhat close by to the Esplanade is the Kuantan City Mall, which is about 8 minutes away by car. We headed there after an evening stroll at the Esplanade. It's just an ordinary mall. There isn't anything particularly special about it, but it has something for everyone, I guess. I mean, there's a cinema if you want to catch a movie. There's Parkson, which is a department store that's kind of like Isetan in Singapore. There's Ubiso, which sells all sorts of knickknacks, just like Miniso or Daiso. There's an indoor playground for kids. But most importantly, at least to me, there's a supermarket, Chaya Grocer. So here's where you stock up on all the snacks and drinks that you could ever want, and at slightly cheaper prices than you can find in Singapore. I don't think you drive all the way to Kuantan from Singapore to visit this mall, but it's certainly nice to know that it's there in case you ever need it. Our final sightseeing trip in Kuantan was to the zoo called Zoo Teruntum. It's not a big zoo, and it's also not really your typical zoo. It's sort of like a hybrid mini zoo/theme park, with the theme park part of it being filled with dinosaurs. Well, animatronic dinosaurs that roar and move upon detecting that you're nearby, which did give one of us in our family group a bit of a scare the first time it happened, but I'm not saying who. Other than the animatronic dinosaurs, there were also animatronic hippos, elephants, a tiger, and a gorilla. The only real animals we saw were goats, deer, birds, an iguana, and some sort of raccoon-like animal. No zebras or tigers here. There is an indoor playground here for the kids, and also a daily show, but it's only a meet and greet with a single animatronic dinosaur coming out and roaring. I hardly call it a show, but it did entertain the many school children who were there on a school trip. Speaking of children, if you're coming here, just note that kids from 0 to 3 years old enter for free. Don't make the mistake of buying a ticket for your less than 4-year-old non-cloak like we did. It's not refundable. By the way, tickets cost 17 Singapore dollars per adult, and for that price, I'm not sure it's worth it to basically see a bunch of fake dinosaurs and animals, but I guess if you really had nothing else to do or you want to educate your kids about dinosaurs, then yeah, sure. Why not? And a trip to Kuantan would not be complete without spending a day or two at the beach. Kuantan has some of the nicest white sandy beaches, and because we stayed at 4 different hotels, we had the privilege of the Kuantan beach experience at 4 different locations. Here's the beach in front of the first hotel we stayed at, the Swiss Garden Beach Resort. This is the beach in front of the Timur Bay seafront apartment. The beach in front of the Hyatt Regency is probably the most picturesque. And finally, because of land reclamation, you can walk up quite a distance into the sea at the beach in front of the Swiss-Belhotel. Alright, so those were the highlights of our 4-day stay in Kuantan. For the drive home, we opted to take the coastal route passing through Mersing and Kota Tinggi, as mentioned earlier in the video. We stopped by in Pekan, a town in Malaysia that's about a 40-minute drive away from Kuantan, to grab a coffee. Fun fact, Pekan is also the royal capital of Pahang State. Anyway, this cafe in Pekan, Lekir Coffee, is rated at 4.7 stars on Google, and having bought and consumed these frappuccinos you see here, I can say that the cafe definitely deserves that rating. The fraps weren't just sweet and creamy. You can actually taste the coffee, which was strong and robust. It was certainly the pick-me-up I needed to continue with the rest of the drive down south to Johor Bahru, which would be another 4 hours or so from Pekan. Definitely recommend stopping by this cafe if you're driving along this route. And they have a robot waiter. Our next stop after Pekan was Mersing, a coastal town in southeast Malaysia. Mersing is also apparently where you go if you want to take the ferry to Pulau Tioman, an island that is popular for snorkeling and diving. The drive to Mersing was mostly smooth, although shortly after we departed Pekan, we spotted what was probably a fire. We saw some smoke in the distance, and then further down we spotted several parts of the forest that had been clearly affected by a blaze. And then even further down, we passed by a fire engine with firefighters who had probably been mobilized to put out any fires before they got out of control. So be careful if you're taking this route, I guess it's prone to wildfires. Just a quick check on Google Maps shows that the fire hazard is still present as I speak, and the fire can spread across the road, as we did see the trees on both sides of the road were burnt. But overall, it certainly was a more pleasant driving experience on this coastal route compared to the inland route through Yong Peng. Not as many lorries slowing the traffic down, and the road seemed to be a little easier to navigate as well. I should mention though that you don't really get to see the beach and the sea the entire way. More than 80% of the route is blocked by trees and greenery, but you can stop by every once in a while when there is a break in the foliage, which is exactly what we did when we arrived in Mersing, and we stopped by this beach for a few minutes to take in the sights and sounds.
We've just arrived at Mersing. It's a sleepy little coastline. We're gonna go get some coffee at Zus Coffee in Mersing, but we thought we would stop by and check out this coastline, which is pretty nice. It's pretty windy, it's very sunny, and the waves, as you can tell, are quite strong. I wouldn't swim in this water.
We also stopped by Zus Coffee in Mersing to grab another round of coffees because we like coffee. Anyway, from Mersing to Johor Bahru was only about another 2 hours, and the rest of the drive was uneventful. By the time we reached Johor, it was about 5:30 p.m. and we had started driving just after 12 p.m, so that was about 5 hours of driving if you exclude the couple of pit stops we took along the way for coffee. Just before you cross the border, we went to Valley Southkey, a shopping mall, to get some dinner at Oriental Kopi. And here's what we had. And that's it for this travel vlog to Kuantan. Hope you enjoyed it and or found something useful from it for your own holiday planning. As mentioned earlier in the video, we stayed at 4 hotels in Kuantan, and in the next few videos, we're going to share our experience at each hotel so that you know what it's like before you decide whether to stay there too. In case you're going to Kuantan, of course, which you should. It was a fun adventure. Alright, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch us in the next video for a review of the Swiss Garden Beach Resort in Kuantan. Bye for now.